Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review the Vestron Collector's Series release of The Unholy. You haven't got a prayer.
Directed by Camilo Vila, starring Ben Cross, William Russ, Jill Carroll, and Ned Beatty, The Unholy is about Father Michael, who after surviving a fall from a 17-story building, is given a church to run. Unfortunately, it has a very dark past. 2 priests prior were murdered viciously, and now he is the 3rd priest. And now he must resist temptation and fight demons. So what do we like?
I liked how they took biblical text and made this into a movie. It's your classic devil versus God story where we have a priest having to fight one of the devil's demons. It's a slow burn of Father Michael not fully accepting his belief in the devil, and I thought that was kind of cool having a priest who's your main character not fully giving in to religion. Like, that's his job. He's supposed to believe in this stuff, and he doesn't believe until it actually starts happening to him.
He's kind of a badass for a priest, to be honest. Like, everywhere he went, he just said that he was a priest, and everyone just, like, fully respected him.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm a priest officer.
I'm sorry, Father. Park right there. Thank you.
Because it is more of a mystery, he, like, kind of goes from place to place to try and put pieces together like he was a detective, but he's a priest. And the lieutenant was a complete weirdo.
You ever handled a suicide before?
No.
Come on, Father.
And definitely a red herring. And there's a lot of different red herrings in this movie because you never know who's telling the truth, who's completely nuts and making shit up, and are any of them demons? There are demons in this movie. They come within the last little bit of the movie and they're crazy looking. And they're practical and they're awesome.
Like, they have little mini demons who are definitely people in costumes, but they have this like 10-foot long dog who they gave hanging boobs to. How hilarious is that?
Yeah, it looks ridiculous, but the story behind it is like really sad. This Blu-ray is filled with like special features, and specifically talking about this dog demon. There's like a 23-minute like mini doc, and you gotta watch it because it's super depressing.
Another thing that was cool about the demons is their human form. I liked the woman who was playing like human form demon. I would probably give in to the temptation, would you?
I'd probably sin a little. For the most part, this was fairly straightforward. It looked nice as far as the cinematography is concerned, but I really liked the lighting. They used a lot of like colorful lighting to kind of accent the characters, and it looked awesome. And aside from like the practical effects of the demons, we actually have some other cool practical effects and some cringy moments in like a really quick sequence at the end, including somebody asked me what's my favorite puke scene in any movie the other day. I said City of the Living Dead, and I'm gonna stick by that, but this is probably up there, where this guy just pukes up like a ton of blood, and I thought if there was gonna be like a top 10 list of puking in horror, I think that should be on there.
I also liked how this film was edited. It was very well done in such a manner that it kept me engaged in the film while also creating some very unpredictable jump scares. I didn't think it was tacky because when they had the jump scares, it was when the demons were trying to scare the humans, and it made sense. It was fitting for what a jump scare should be.
Yep, I was caught off guard a couple times. Now let's move on to our dislikes.
This isn't so much a dislike as I was more frustrated in the film with the amount of red herrings that they had. And it's really annoying when characters keep flip-flopping on whether they're good or bad. It's one thing to try and make me believe that the lieutenant is in on it, or Luke is in on it, or Millie's in on it. The fact that they go back and forth so often without any explanation or closure, that's annoying.
Yeah, in one scene you'll have Luke being like a really nice guy, talking to the priest like, come over, help me out, man. I think you need to exorcise me. Not in that weird way, guys. Jeez. And then in the next scene, He's like getting so pissed because he thinks that the priest is banging Millie.
Or the lieutenant. When Father Michael first arrives to this chapel, the lieutenant, he like says, oh, go get me some coffee. Okay, sneaks a book into the drawer. Like it's an obvious plant, and there's no reason as to why he planted the book there.
Right, it didn't need to be planted. It didn't really make sense. I didn't understand his connection to Millie, and there's no closure to that storyline at all.
Even Millie's character, she just kept going back and forth between like being for Satan, not being for Satan, being a virgin, not being a virgin.
Father, I'm a virgin. I never let any man touch me.
Like, I don't know what's going on with her, and it's hard to follow, and it's distracting from the movie.
Why are you doing this?
I'm really starting to feel that there's more in this movie that annoyed me than I actually disliked, because they put so much emphasis on this goddamn statue,
Yeah, the statue.
that is so out of place in this church.
On the other side of the altar, there's a really nice angel statue. And then right across from it is just this demon-looking bitch. It's clear she's from hell. And the fact that people like will go up to her and like basically get possessed while talking to her, you know, it's a problem.
Get rid of the statue, you got no problems.
Yeah, a sledgehammer would have solved this whole movie. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. This is the first Vestron film that I hadn't seen and I haven't even heard of, to be honest. And it's probably for good reason. It's not much of a horror movie. I mean, it's got aspects of a horror movie, but it's more of a mystery. I didn't necessarily dislike it, but I also didn't love it. The pacing was pretty good, so I was like engaged, but nothing really like completely captivated me. I mean, they had some really cool sequences, but for the most part, it's just like a run-of-the-mill like whodunit. This one's not campy. It's not very funny. It's a very serious movie that has some comedic elements just because of its age. It's by no means a bad movie, but it's not that great. So I'm gonna give this 2 trouser snakes out of 5.
I have never heard of The Unholy before. This is one of those films that clearly must have slipped by us in the last like 30 years, and I can see why. Because it just doesn't have any memorable qualities that would make it stand out. It's a film that is way more mystery than it is horror, and it's frustrating with how the characters are developed. It's very annoying, and you don't get the closure that you're gonna want. I did, however, enjoy this film for how it was developed. I liked Father Michael's character, and I liked how the story was paced. But again, there's nothing that really makes it stand out in the sense that this is something that I would recommend to a lot of people. So with that being said, I'm gonna have to give this film 2.5 Zools, the Gatekeeper of Gozer, out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, Vestron Lionsgate just released like this dope-ass Blu-ray that's probably the definitive version of this movie. So there's links in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.